Good morning, everybody. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the ranking system you'll find and come in contact with at most Taekwondo academies, schools, universities here in the United States. Now, this ranking system I'm talking about may vary slightly depending on the size of the school and whether or not the school is actually World Taekwondo certified. What I mean by that is all the instructors, the grandmaster, your black belts, your instructors are all Kukiwan certified or degree black belts. And also your area. The reason why I say area because if you're in an area where Taekwondo doesn't have a lot of schools and there's maybe one or two really big schools, the ranking structure will be a bit more expanded than what I'm going to cover today. And if you're in an area where there isn't a lot of people interested in martial arts, period, and maybe one school, the ranking structure may leave out a few positions. Okay, first one to talk about is the difference between an academy and a school. Now, you may say an academy and a school is the same thing. No, actually, they're not. An academy usually has a certification from your particular state. What that basically means is it's basically a state recognized school or daycare system that's licensed. How that affects your after school programs, that affects whether or not your teachers or mentors or tutors at your school have state certifications to teach. And it varies from state to state, and sometimes if you're in a particular state from county to county. My experience in Georgia and Alabama and throughout the Southeast, and it was a little different. I noticed up in Washington State, but I'm going to talk about the Southeast in particular. North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Particularly Georgia. The difference between Georgia and Alabama. Over in Georgia, a lot of Taekwondo schools and academies are state certified daycare centers because of the after school programs they have. In those after school programs, you have tutors that do math, reading. Sometimes if they're part of the Korean Cultural Society or Asiatic Culture Society, they teach Korean language, how to write in Hangul, all kinds of different things outside of your regular academic, science, math, reading. So when you have a small school, and I'll use, say, a school that's inside of a church or part of a YMCA or part of some type of city youth center or outreach center. A lot of times when it's at like your rec center, for instance, it'll be someone who usually has a primary school or academy, but they're in their community outreach have decided to pick a particular rec center or YMCA or what have you to teach Taekwondo. Those classes could be fundamental Taekwondo, it could be self-defense classes, it can be anti-bullying classes. It varies depending on who's doing it and where it's at. Those particular instances are an extension of the school, which means that you may have in that situation a lot of kids that for the summer for 4, 6, 8 weeks are taking Taekwondo or self-defense or anti-bullying as part of a summer program, and that'll be as far as they'll go. So rankings and promotions may be a little different. What you'll know or recognize sometimes is the common ranking system. Kids that every summer participate in that particular anti-bullying, self-defense, fundamental Taekwondo class, and they're familiar with the teacher, may come back after a full, year almost, and still may have the rank of red belt or brown belt or blue belt or purple belt or what have you. And they may never, really get to that black belt level, although they may have a lot of, potential. The ranking in that situation is going to be anywhere from just an instructor that's not a grandmaster to instructor that may be a master instructor, every so often a grandmaster, and in certain cases, depending how big the summer program is, it could actually just be instructors from his school that may be black belts. Or if you have a situation where you have students from a school in that summer program, parents sometimes will step in certain capacities, mostly for, maintaining control, discipline of classes. That ranking structure will be an instructor, parents, and then usually some of the older kids. Now, certification for those kids and parents will vary. Some may be for, say, sport. Some may have had some type of, anti-bullying, self-esteem and awareness, say something, alert training. It's all across the board. But from instructor to parents, then no other kids. Sometimes it's just an instructor. And you have to remember that with those situations at a rec center or YMCA, it's voluntary. They could turn around and say next summer they're going to do something else. Or say if an instructor has been at a YMCA or rec center for a while, they may say, I'm not going to, do that for a summer or something like that. It kind of varies. Then you get up to a school. Now the major difference from a school and an academy is that sometimes the schools aren't required to have state licenses for daycare. And whatever state you live in, I would consult that particular state's legislation and rules on that to find it out. Those schools are allowed to work because what they'll probably do is private lessons or, classes, say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, have nothing Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Or say during the work week, Monday through Friday, have classes 2 or 3, maybe 4 days, if depending on the size of the class and interest. And that's really all you hear about those. The schools and at that level will rarely have an after-school program. They'll just kind of be pure, physical fitness, anti-bullying, self-esteem, boosting environments, things like that. Schools aren't that uncommon because, and here's where it's going to vary. If that school is a part of, say, another sports marketing firm, I'm going to use ATA as an example. In the United States, we have something called the American Taekwondo Association. They are a sports marketing group at its core, and they sell licenses to people to open up schools. Once they sell them that license, then it's up to them whether they go to their state or county or city legislation or council or senate or whatever and find out what the rules are to become a licensed daycare center or get a license for childcare. That's why you'll see a school pop up in, say, what used to be an old Dollar Tree or what used to be an old Chinese restaurant, something like that. They're the most common, they're the easiest to set up, and they'll be, say for instance, I've known schools to be in the basement of churches, then move to abandoned Chinese restaurants, then move to old Sears and Roebuck's buildings, and then move just, in a span of 5 years, that school will probably have moved 5 times. Nothing's wrong with that, per se, unless, they have a history of incidents, injuries, inappropriate, contact with kids. It varies. Plus, with schools, a lot of times, it's rare that it's the same person or group of people. It'll start out with one person, he'll hand it down to the next person, or she'll hand it down to the next person, and they'll use that license or name. Like if you're a member of something like the ATA, they sell licenses. So that's why you may see a lot of schools like that, but you rarely see that many big academies. Now getting to the big boys, the academies. Now, I want to stress, a school that throws the name academy on it is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual martial arts, registered Taekwondo academies that have done some of the following things: have state licenses for child daycare, have state certified tutors and teachers doing their tutoring and core strengthening courses, have certified black belts, master instructors, and a grandmaster. Okay. Basically what I'm saying is at most good academies, especially some of the large ones you see that have their own gym, have their own steam rooms, have their own indoor tracks. You know, in Georgia, especially in that Gwinnett, North Fulton County area, we used to be in Wilcox County, you will find academies like that because you have a high level of Korean population up there. You also have a lot of people that have expendable income up there. So you'll go to an academy that will have its own gym with its own bikes, its own treadmills, its own indoor track, its own sauna, its own pool, its own recovery pool. Those type of academies are rare, and when you look at the paperwork on them, it's a paper trail. You can find out everything from the Grandmaster certification, his license as a business, his licensing to be a child care provider or daycare under the state. They're a little bit more harder and stricter to get into. Academies usually have a waiting list, and they're usually, when you join an academy, you're in it for the long haul. You know, the goal of most academies are, when they are providing after school programs in particular, the child may be there from Monday to Saturday. You know, these are going to be places where you as a parent are going to have chairs. You can sit and watch them practice, watch them do testing the whole nine, and you're going to be more involved. Parental involvement is going to be something that's going to be stressed very, 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 very hard. It's going to be very important. You know, you're going to get the emails, you're going to get the letters, every tournament, every seminar, every Korean culture event. It's going to be, you look at it and you'll think, you'll be wondering, you put them in Taekwondo because you're thinking it was easier. You didn't realize that you were, going through as much as you did if they were in soccer or swimming or tennis or football or basketball. But with academies, you have that because it's a long haul deal. Also, most academies are a little more expensive, and the way they're set up is when you sign up for their service and you sign that contract, that's a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year contract that's just like buying a car. If you are going to, because you heard that a good after school program and all these things, that's great. Find out, if their after school program is a separate entity altogether from the actual Taekwondo classes, because some academies do that. And like I said, individual results may vary. Talk to the head of the school, the grandmaster, master's in charge, whoever, and just ask them, because sometimes they have after school programs that they'll pick your kid up from school. It'll be a safe, well kept environment, clean, and you come pick them up whenever you get off work, or however you arrange to do it, and that could be a separate entity altogether from being an after school program and taking Taekwondo courses. Also, a lot of academies have a lot of extra things going on. They have gym memberships, where I can think of some places in Swanee and up near Douglasville and up at Alpharetta that literally you would think it was a LA Fitness or Planet Fitness. Same equipment, same big fans rolling around in the ceiling. They'll have their own indoor, track. Those academies have a lot of facilities and have a lot of different things going on for both parents and students. It's basically, what I'm saying is, a larger commitment for you as someone who's going to be studying there or taking some of the advantages of being a member of that particular academy or school. Also, with the academy system is going to be a bigger group. Academies may have, 50, 60, 70 students at the kid level, but then the adults, as usual, may have, 15, 20, not counting parents. With an academy, you want to be sure that it's something you can afford. It's something that, say for instance, if you heard they had a great after school program and you put your child into that, they don't want to ever, they don't want to take Taekwondo outside of, 6 months, but you're on the hook for a year or 2 years. Find out if you can take the courses or take Taekwondo in their place. I've known situations where parents sign the kid up, kid wants to fight, gets in the ring, gets kicked, didn't like it, and they don't want to come back. But the parents are on the hook for another year and a half or a full year or sometimes 2 years. I've known parents that just come in, take Taekwondo themselves, retrain, get recertified as a black belt, sometimes get actually certified as black belts, and have a good time with it. So when you're thinking about joining a Taekwondo school, try to understand this. There are certain schools and academies called martial arts academies and martial arts schools. Individual results for those may vary. The reason why I make sure I draw distinctions because a martial arts academy may not focus on anything in particular. 1 year they're teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. 1 year they're teaching kickboxing. 1 year they may be teaching boxing. It just all depends. Martial arts academies are just that. Whatever's hot right then and there is what they'll focus on. That's what they're trying to sell you. So if you're armed with that knowledge and also understand that if you're doing it, after school programs, something for the kids, don't be afraid to sit down and talk to whoever's running it and ask them about those things. Don't be afraid to ask those qualifying questions and be comfortable with your decision. Because as I said, even schools have contracts they want you to sign now that'll put you on the hook for a year, 2 years, what have you. So understand that there is a difference. I understand that in the true academies, especially Taekwondo academies, there's a reason why there's a waiting list to get in. There's a reason why they screen, I say, more than, say, a school. Most schools that are desperate to get people to join don't care. Academies, because they have state certifications, a lot of them, take on a lot more liability, and they want to make sure that they're not doing anything to risk their licenses, their business, themselves. And as a parent, it's something to consider. If you want to go to a school because you like the guy or like the instructor or like the who's there, it's your choice. But just remember, after school programs, anti-bullying training, the cost to you, because I will say this in this modern era, to participate in Taekwondo is not overly expensive, but if you do start going to tournaments and participating at certain level tournaments, like if you participate in, say, just some fly-by-night schools invitational, that's once a year, you may pay that $45, $50, and in some cases, depending if they have a cash prize or what they're giving away for prizes, $90 bill once. If you're in a particular organization that has regional state championships, that price could be anywhere from $90 to $200. If you start competing at the United States national level, USA Taekwondo, registration for things like the President's Cup, US Open, US Nationals, each one of those could have, just for registering, in essence, whether it be Pumse or sparring, $170 to $235 price tag on it. And that's not including any type of equipment you have to buy, particularly your e-socks. If you don't already have a pair, the ones you have are either beat up or they're not the ones they're using at the tournament. Most academies, especially those that are Kukiwan certified, will be able to give you a list and tell you what type of equipment is being used at nationals, state games. Now, when I say state games, I'm about state championships, not the National Congress of State Games. That's a different organization. It's a different, thing altogether. Which, in that case, if you're just a state games person, you just want to participate in your state games, that could be a $60, $70 fee that you pay once a year to participate. And some state games are different from others. Some state games actually use full electronic huggles for seniors and senior black belts, where you have to buy your own socks. Some don't. It just really depends. Also, with the academy system, please understand that with that academy system, they are a numbers organization. For them, they don't win if they have 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 black belts running around that haven't been properly trained, don't know how to conduct themselves as black belts, don't know how to lead, don't know how to train kids and adults. Now, some people like to train kids, some people like to train adults, but being properly trained to do any of those, you still have to be trained and properly certified to do it. So that's really, in a nutshell, the difference between the academies, the schools, and some of the things that go on, like at your local recreation area, your YMCAs, things like that. Whichever one best works for you, go with it. But don't be afraid to sit down and talk to those guys and find out what's going on, and especially pricing. Some schools, when you sign the kid up, will give them a free uniform, and let me just define uniform. Some schools will give them a t-shirt, say t-shirt and shorts, that's what you're wearing this summer. Some a full huggle, a jacket, pants. Some just a t-shirt and pants. It's going to vary. Find this out. And then if they're going to participate in anything extra, like say for instance, if they want to spar, find out how much the safety equipment is if you have to buy any of it. A lot of times they have kits you can buy. That's a good idea too. If they're doing forms, there's, for certain tournaments, a special type of hegu you have to wear to participate in Pumse. It's evolved to that. So keep some of these things in mind so you don't get surprised. Excuse me. And try to, build a relationship with your instructors and masters and everything. And when I say build a relationship, try to know who these people are. Because realistically, like I said, if you bring your child dedicated the way that they ask you to, or if they're in an after-school program in particular, every day, from Monday to Friday, sometimes Monday to Saturday, these guys and women are going to be around your kids every day for hours at a time. And remember that it's not free. It has a cost to it. So, excuse me. Take that in consideration. Try to get to know some of these people. Talk to them, find out what's going on. And when you start going to tournaments, understand and realize what I was saying a few videos back. There are different levels now. A little grassroots tournament that everyone's friendly, that's one level. Your state games of America, that's another level. Your collegiate tournaments now, that's another level. Your state may actually have a high school league, that's another level. Then after all of that, now you start getting into the United States Nationals, where you have to have membership into USAT on top of your membership into your academy, school, or whatever summer program you are. And yes, there are some schools that are World Taekwondo certified, USAT certified. There are some that are just World Taekwondo certified that may not be USAT certified. There are some that may be USAT certified that aren't World Taekwondo certified. And then you have the other organizations, other Taekwondo organizations. That's going to depend on what area you're in, what's in your area. I knew a guy that drove almost an hour and a half one way twice a week for Taekwondo because where he lived, there were no schools. There weren't even any karate dojos out there. So he'd drive every day from almost, I want to say he was at Dalton. I think it was Dalton he used to drive from. Tuesdays and Fridays for black belt class. I knew a guy when I got to Alabama. We used to drive from Pensacola twice a week because down in Pensacola, they had some martial arts things going on there. But for those that don't know, Florida is a big MMA training place now. You have a lot of UFC training spots down there, and that's what a lot of people down in Florida want to do. So if you want to focus on Taekwondo in particular, it may be hard because everyone's trying to get on that UFC bandwagon. Everybody's trying to have the next Conor McGregor or John Jones or Andre Silva or John St. Pierre or, just that's what Florida is on right now. Georgia was kind of like that for a hot minute, but where Georgia slacked off, Florida picked up. So I hope that information, differences between academies and schools, you found helpful. Please remember to like this video if you like it, subscribe to the channel, and donate. All your donations help, and I appreciate every last one of them. And once again, I hope this information helps you out. I hope that when you go looking for your next training opportunity, whether it be for yourself or for your kids or something, that you have a good time, enjoy it. And I will see you next video. Don't forget, click the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Like the video if you like it. And please donate. Go to my PayPal to donate. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys in the next video.